So I guess we'll just jump into it. Anyone who's coming in late, we're recording this. We'll post it on YouTube. Speaking of socials, I'm gonna update I'll send out a list of all of our updated socials. Some of them have changed to reflect the new brand. So if you haven't jumped on those, please do so. I'd love to see you across all platforms. We know that the Telegram is probably our most active, but we're trying to do a better job at making sure we hit everybody across Twitter and Reddit and all those platforms as well. So feel free to join us there.
The current Dex IRA token is still pointing to our existing website and Telegram community and everything. However, Dex Finance handles have been locked down and will be used for all new launches now, except for the Dex IRA token.
Exactly. Let me just give you guys a little rundown here, and then we'll open it up for questions. I know we got a lot going on, so I'm going to kind of keep this initial discussion kind of high level and just explanatory. If any of you guys have more detailed questions afterwards, feel free to make our heads hurt with your technical analysis.
I can't answer why Bitcoin is down today, but anything else.
Yeah. So first thing I want to let you guys know, I know you guys, especially those who have been with us since the beginning, I know you guys have been asking for the Dex reinvestment option. So we are actually going to give that to you hopefully this weekend. We've developed a wrapped Dex version. It'll be WDEX, right? It'll hold the same value as a Dex token. However, you'll be able to get this wrapped Dex option through the Dex IRA dashboard. The reason why we did this for a couple reasons. It took so long initially because there is a known tap vector for same reward reflections. So we were really trying to avoid that. Everything we do, we try to run tests after tests and make sure that we're very secure. There's nothing worse than investing in a project, especially like you guys who are just really amazing investors and want to stay with it for the long haul. We would hate to have anything happen, but we feel real confident about this new token. It's actually kind of the start of our ETF that we're putting together for the money market as well. Now that we have this wrap version, we can add additional tokens to the wrapper and offer those as well. So we'll post some more detailed announcements about this when it's out, but we're looking to have that out this weekend, so you guys can update your dashboards if you want more Dex. So that's the first thing. I know everyone's interested in the money market, so let's go over that next. Obviously the first and foremost, the Dex IRA is always going to be our baby. It's our flagship token, and we still are 100% behind this. The whole concept of long-term investing in crypto has worked out well for me personally, and we really feel that that's the best way to be successful in the crypto industry. It's really tough to be a day trader here, and building the right portfolio is essential, right? So, but with recent technological advances, I know you guys have all seen these new algorithmic coins, and they're pretty great in some ways. They provide really high yields, and we want to be able to offer a different style of coin while maintaining our initial brand, right? So we came up with what we're calling the Dex Money Market. It is much different than probably anything you've seen thus far out there. What we try to do was we'll take the best aspects of certain projects. Obviously, Tune Finance has been really big lately. It's a great protocol, and the original has done really well. However, most of the forks out there have done pretty poorly after the first couple days. and that's because there's some pretty serious flaws, in our opinion, within the protocol, right? Which we'll get into in a second. The other main one that everyone knows is Olympus DAO, OHM, right? And another great token. People like Olympus because it's much more stable than Tomb. Simplicity of it, single asset staking, where you just deposit your OHM tokens and you're able to get more OHM tokens in return. That's efficient and easy to use for everybody, right?
If you could pay your $100 approval fees all the way down.
Yeah. I mean, but what it's lacking in is some of the great stuff that Tomb has, the high yields, right? The reason why we believe most of the forks from Tomb are unsuccessful, again, they have a couple major flaws, right? The biggest glaring issue to us is the bonding mechanism, right? So if you're familiar with them, if you're familiar with how the protocols work, it's regulated by two mechanisms, right? So there's a rewards mechanism if it's overpegged, and another one if it's underpegged. So if the price of the peg token is underpegged, you would buy what's considered a bond. And the problem is you only get paid out on these bonds once the price goes back overpegged, which is great. You're making money if it happens, but some of these tokens have seen just dips that don't come back, right? So anyone buying a bond during that period is left holding their back, and essentially you have no way to redeem that bond, and your buy-in could go to zero without any way to jump out, right?
Yeah, they chase high yields.
So that was my second point is these kind of mercenary yield farmers, they're called, right?
Yeah.
The statistic out there is that like more than half of people who start these projects are gone within the first 24 hours.
3 days. Yeah.
And I think 75% in 72 hours.
3 days.
Right? So,
all right.
So that's another aspect that we're trying to avoid. And I guess the third thing in our opinion is that it's just really complex.
The mechanisms, yeah.
In order to make money on these and trade them efficiently, you have to be pretty experienced as a trader. You have to do a lot of math on the fly, and you got to be lucky too. And there's just so many different routes you can take. So
a lot of them are starting with little capital too, and doing all sorts of Genesis pools and different things that we weren't too keen on either. It doesn't seem like a long-term investment strategy, and Dex IRA obviously has placed itself in a longer-term strategy. So to launch an algo coin, we've gone over a lot of things here with the dev team and the admin here.
Yeah, so I guess let me give you a little preview of what how we've kind of solved these problems. The biggest introduction that we're releasing is what we're calling auto compounded strategies. So you've noticed, I'm sure, on a number of these projects, they have like auto compounded pools, right? So like Beefy or Bloopify or Reaper. These are companies that do this, and it works. You can take compounding as one of the wonders of the world, I said, right? So, I mean, you can take a small investment, and if you're compounding, you can create additional yields by compounding. However, the problem is once you're in a pool and you're compounding, you're kind of stuck there first. You're paying fees to the companies that do this, right? And also, you're not necessarily helping the protocol as a whole, right? Because if there's 3 or 4 or 5 different pools you can be in, and a dozen different strategies to go between those, right? You're kind of locked into that one pool, and you're just compounding at one place, right? So what we've done is we've created a system where essentially you can invest your money in pool A, right? With the rewards from that pool A, you can automatically have them migrated to a pool B. And then with the rewards from Pool P, you can automatically have those carried over into Pool C, a regulation pool.
Without needing to spike the price either.
Right. It just goes from one to another. You're not automatic. You're not selling all the time. You're doing it on a time scheduler, and in the right volumes and the right times. Right. So the protocol is handling all this for you, taking all the work out, and you're spreading your money around evenly between the different pools.
Yeah, one of the glaring issues there too is that a lot of algo stablecoins are currently paying fees, to these vendors, things like Reaper and BP, versus, our thought is different, that maybe those fees are actually, a pool used to help regulate the price too.
Exactly. So that's actually another point. We have removed the bond, so we're not asking anybody to take the price below the peg, or I'm sorry, to pick up the bonds below the peg. We think if that were to happen, that the protocol should handle that itself and take the risk on that. So we kind of devised a method in which the protocol would essentially handle the regulation of the peg, and then distribute rewards back to people in the regulation pools based on what the protocol has bought or sold. Additionally, we are adding in what we're calling like ETF rewards. This will involve some of the tokens from the Dex IRA dashboard, mainly mid to large cap tokens. Again, we want people to have a well-rounded portfolio, and this is a great way to do it. Additionally, this prevents just panic selling and poorly timed sell-offs, right? Because the protocol is going to be doing this and allocating ETF rewards rather than protocol tokens, right? So this should make everything much more stable. The price of the peg can stay within a given range, and also anyone looking to take profits can do that within like an auto compounded strategy, one of several, and feel confident just leaving their money in and taking out and automatically just being sent profits. One of the last things we've also included is the bonding mechanism that OHM Olympus perfected. One of the big problems, like we said, with these mercenary yield farmers, in the high yield protocols like Tomb, is that they pay. It's basically considered renting liquidity, right? Because you can put your liquidity into a project and you can take it out anytime you want, which can have inverse effects on the protocol. A bonding mechanism, in this sense, would allow you to essentially you're giving pre-selected tokens which have value to the protocol, to the liquidity, and in return you're getting money market tokens on a vested schedule. That guarantees that the money's in there, and essentially the protocol owns that liquidity instead of just borrowing it from farmers who can take it at any time.
Making a long-term strategy here out of an algo coin and trying to prevent people from spiking or needing to purchase bonds they can't redeem, essentially making a safer, investment, where a lot of these things work very well up front and then have faster fall-off periods. We want to, just similar with Dex IRA, create a new infrastructure that just doesn't exist yet and do it properly. We're not afraid to innovate over here, and I think, what else are you thinking here on this too from the dev team that we could help with on answers here?
Yeah, we got a couple more points, and then we'll just open the floor up.
Right on.
Yeah, I'll also note too that some of the things we just mentioned, the bonding you'll be able to bond XIRA, XETF tokens, which will further the ecosystem as a whole. You can continue to keep money within the ecosystem and not be penalized, and move your money to different allocations to where you want it.
True.
Fluidity and within the ecosystem is important, as well as the ETF. As I mentioned, the wrap DEX token is kind of the first iteration of the ETF. Whereas obviously the wrap DEX is solely just a DEX token, and it's strictly rewards DEX holders and more DEX. Where the ETF would contain mid large caps, but you'll also include there'll be at least a small allocation of all of the ecosystem tokens. This is going to create constant buy pressure for all of the tokens within the ecosystem, and again just further that along.
Right. To reiterate, that DEX will be an option for DEX rewards, as well as included in the ecosystem of the new algo token as well, so that we should see rises across the value of everything included in the ecosystem.
Exactly. So the big question is when launch, right? We are very close. Again, like I said, this is a very complex system, and it's not something that's been done before. So we have been just testing our butts off, trying to make sure everything is perfect. Lots of different variables.
We're live on testnet. We are seeing it working, and obviously the interface is very key here. We're seeing a lot of people really just pushing out the same interface, and that is not something we're doing, especially with the strategies.
One of the main variables too, which also I kind of passed over, but if you've paid attention to any of these tune forks that have been out lately, another major issue is that these Genesis pools go off, right, and people basically get free tokens. But in order to start a Genesis pool, you need to have both tokens launched, right? And in order to launch a token, you need to provide liquidity, something. You need to provide some liquidity at least in order for the liquidity not to be taken by someone else, right? You have to set the ratio of the liquidity pool. So they have to do this, right? And they put $100 in, right? But the problem is if you put $100 in the liquidity pool and someone goes online and puts $100 worth of money in $5 orders, that doubles the price of the token. So all these tokens
they see big spikes,
$50,000, and they're just not worth that much, right? So with our community behind us, we want to make sure all you guys have the opportunity to get in first. We're gonna offer a pre-sale and essentially launch with a good amount of liquidity in all these, which will create a stable price to start with, and combined with the automated compounding strategies, some of the other things, we expect more of a gradual up incline, as opposed to just people just racing the high APRs in order to get their money back right away. And with that in mind, so we're hopefully shooting for mid next week, Wednesday, Thursday-ish, for pre-sale, with the public launch, the following 24 hours afterwards. Make sure we get everything situated.
And that would coincide with a full marketing launch again with Dex tools and everyone. But I think that it's important to mention right there that this means that Launchpad and pre-sale is in the imminent future, and we are already launching and now testing the new front ends for these systems as well. So we're confident that we should be moving forward and getting everybody on board at this point now.
Let's see here. We got a couple other questions here from the chat previously. Dev just mentioned our marketing plan. So yeah, the pre-sale launch, the idea here is to kind of time this up with our next big marketing push. You guys all saw the results from our first banner ad on Dex Tools, that first banner ad was a shared ad, right? So we were 50-50 split with another token. This next one coming up, we actually have the exclusive spot, so we'll be 100% all Dex Finance banner for the next week.
And be pushing people into the new Launchpad, at which point you'll also be able to start looking through the new interfaces as well for the ecosystem.
Yeah, and then all the normal stuff. We're gonna start hitting the influencers and our sponsored Reddit posts and all of the stuff that's worked for us in the past. I got some other questions here. Doxing plan. So we do have, as you guys have seen on the new site, we did go through a third-party KYC with SolidWorks. We're not opposed to full doxing. We're just trying to be a little protective of our of our privacy at this point. Not that we're going anywhere, but the internet trolls can be vicious sometimes. We've said in the past that at 50 million market cap, we're going to have a big party in Vegas. You guys are all welcome to come. Maybe do a public doxing there. Some other questions. NFT plan. I don't know. We're not real big on NFTs. At some point, there might be a market for it, but right now we're trying to stick with more the financial planning tools for crypto. We have discussed some other products in the future, CDs and some other things like that. So those are definitely in the works. More midterm. Again, the DexPad, the token you'll need to participate in the DexPad will be the Dex IRA token. Again, furthering the value of that. Right, and we already have some additional, we're talking to some additional projects to get follow-up launches, so this won't be a one-time thing. Our plan is to continue to give you guys opportunities to get into good quality projects as we move on, and further the Dex ecosystem, the Dex brand. So I think that pretty much covers it, unless you got anything else, Dev.
No, I think that does cover it. There will be an interface to allow people to add new projects, within the team here, so that, if we would like to continue using our new Launchpad beyond our ecosystem, there is going to be an interface as well for people who are holders to, recommend projects. So that is something that we do have as well. I guess it's not the priority at the moment, though. So I would almost send this back to you or open it up and, just be aware that, there's incoming Launchpad, incoming Algo token, new D-app interface for connecting your wallet and dealing with the strategies and farms. And we really do have something just like with Dex IRA that, exists within the same, frameworks of what's out there, but really is pushing the limits of what's possible again. So, we're very excited and ready on our end. So I push it back to you, Edmund, and to our group.
Yeah, why don't we open up for some questions here? Anyone got anything they'd like to share, add, ask? Guess just raise your hand. You can open it up, or maybe just open it up. Let's see here. Rocket Ship. You're on, Rocket Ship. You hear us? You got a microphone? No. Yeah. I got it. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Here we go. Now you're on. You there, Rocket Ship?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yeah. Do you know what the tier for pre-sale is going to be yet?
Yeah. So we have the official tiers are 500,000, 1 million, and 5 million. We've gotten a lot of requests for smaller participants, and we do want to be inclusive. We haven't released anything publicly just yet, but I think our plan here is to maintain the same 3 levels. However, maybe what we're thinking is maybe we'll do a secondary pre-sale to allow anybody with like 50 or 100,000 tokens to be able to buy with at the same price as the public launch. So at least they won't have to fight with like the bots and all the newcomers.
Gotcha. And then I got question number 2.
Mm-hmm.
The ETF strategy, is the protocol going to diversify your stable coins for you, or how does that get managed, your ETF?
So the initial ETF will be a predefined selection of tokens, right? Like we're planning on adding most of the tokens from the Dex IRA dashboard, the large to mid caps, plus the tokens within the ecosystem. However, the expansion plan would be to come up with a diverse array of ETF tokens so you can purchase to diversify yourself. This is also a prime example of something we can use the DAO for. People that have voting rights and say in which tokens come next. In this case, for the money market, at least to start with, there'll be one ETF that has a predefined selection. The protocol will basically just send those out as rewards. You'll be able to go ahead and swap the ETF for whatever currency you want. If you wanted to sell it, of course, but it'll be a defined set. Because in the future, once we start adding more to it, it's definitely theoretically possible that we can add a currency selector for rewards for money market as well.
The whole idea is just going to be the rewards on rewards, because holding Dex IRA gives you rewards, right? Well, holding the algo coin inside of a strategy gives you rewards, but those are usually liquidity pool rewards. So the ETF token will be a predefined set of rewards coming out the gate. However, the dev team has presented to admin already a voting interface. So maybe we work on something where we decide via votes, via holders, what the distribution of the ETF will be. There's a lot of opportunity here, and it's going to be interesting to see which direction the community would like us to take it, because this is something also that doesn't exist on the Binance Smart Chain in some senses. It's going to be hard to find something similar to this. So we do have some flexibility with the ETF after launch.
Gotcha.
Good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question, man.
Anyone else got a question? Captain Crypto.
We got a few buddies.
Oh. Okay, Captain Crypto, you're on with the Dex team.
To Dubai Expo in March.
I'm sorry, I just heard Dubai Expo in March. Still with us, buddy?
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but there is a giant expo in Dubai. It's going to be March 2022 here for various business sectors. It doesn't look particular to crypto. Obviously, that'll be a big thing there, but maybe I know Miami's hosting big crypto events. So is Dubai. We're talking about our own. Let's get there, buddies. I guess are you located in Dubai? Do you want to take this conversation offline? Let us know what you're thinking.
Still with us, Captain?
Thank you. So good.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. We'll see you there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, personally, Dubai is definitely on my list. So any opportunity I can get to write that off, I'm coming.
Let's bring James up.
Yeah, let's get down here to James. right, James, I think you're on with us.
Oh, okay. You hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know there's been some conversation about central exchanges versus keeping it as it is now. I don't know if some central exchanges can list independently without permission. But I was just kind of curious on kind of strategy on there to make sure that
Sure.
the rewards keep coming back to holders.
Yeah, everyone, we get this question all the time. It's almost funny, man, when new products.
I can give them the good answer. The fact is if you have a high slippage percentage, like we do, where rewards are paid back to holders, large exchanges would have to hold a wallet then, like a massive wallet, to be able to do that, and they would let you. We could potentially get something like Dex IRA on like a Binance, if that's what you're talking about. In fact, we already are listed on Binance's website, just not tradable within their ecosystem. Same with things like KuCoin. Reason being is the slippage is not built into this. The new tokens, however, the ETF, the shares, US Dex, the algo coin, these things can potentially be listed on exchanges. For Dex IRA itself, the correct answer is really that we're going to be moving into multiple AMMs. And that's basically just the exchanges within the Binance ecosystem. So you'll start to see Dex IRA, popping up on things like Ape Swap and things like that. However, it would be the new things that the new products in the DEX ecosystem, those would potentially have, the ability to be launched on what are called the centralized exchanges. But this is just the standard of how it is. There's nothing that we can control with those things. We could add Dex IRA, like I said, into ApeSwap and other AMMs, but if it's going to require the new ecosystem to actually hit something like a KuCoin or a Coinbase or anything like that. So if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know that some people have been concerned about that, but I suppose,
Yeah, that's why you see things like Shiba Inu and like Dogecoin, because they don't have slippages, so that's why they allow them on those types of things. You're not going to see any tokens with slippage, from my understanding, anything higher than 1% on centralized exchanges.
Yeah, the centralized exchange model is going to be making money off of the transaction fees from day trading, right? That's where the most of their bread and butter comes from. And so with a high slippage token like Dex IRA, they're disincentivized to list us.
Yeah, I think currently we have no immediate plans for centralized exchanges. A lot of times when these tokens do that, it's just for like a brand recognition, but I haven't seen really any of them that have been that successful with them. Even like SafeMoon, right? Like they didn't even offer the reflections on not any of them. I think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
you lose the mechanisms when you go there. It's just like a holding pool for it. But by launching our own money market, our own ETFs and stuff, we provide maybe the ability to do some of the things that you'd be looking at within the actual DEX ecosystem. Doesn't mean that we won't, push to get certain assets that are a part of the new Dex Finance on centralized exchanges. That's absolutely, we're going to be doing that. But for Dex IRA in particular, things like that just don't exist. That's why you see these big.
The good news is SafeMoon as an example is hit like $6 billion in market cap, and they're not even using the centralized exchanges. So if we get to $6 billion, James, man, you'll be long retired, right?
Yeah.
By the time we consider centralized exchanges.
Yeah. At some point, it's a good thing overall.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Jaded Emperor, our CEO.
Hello.
In. I think we actually had a specific question for you, Jaded. Came in the chat earlier. I see the CLO calls himself the Jaded Emperor. Is this the same man behind the Jade Protocol?
Oh, that's hilarious. No, actually, completely unrelated. I did invest in Jade Protocol personally because I like I don't know. I'm a fan of Asian wuxia Chinese mythology and stuff. So Jaded Emperor is just a play on Jade Emperor, right? This is fun. That's funny though.
Well, James, thanks again for for the questions. We appreciate it. We got anyone else while we're still here? You guys have a few minutes. We got Mr.
Yeah,
Side Hustle.
I had several members asking for a recording who are just going to be unavailable today. So we might have some follow-up questions that come in, and then we can, post things into a blog post or into the Telegram as well. But just to let people know, there are going to be some other questions that just aren't going to happen, I guess, right this second. But the overall AMM here is really because I guess it's tough to ask questions until you guys are in there. But there is a new launch pad. There is a new algo coin. We are going to be moving further in with Dex IRA and creating as well an ETF here. These things are all already live on testnet. We have interfaces. We're going through them. There will be a new documentation repo that's going live here. So a lot of people that will have questions, they'll probably be answered at launch by going to the help. And I think admin can speak on that. That's coming very soon.
Yeah, that'll be one of the next things out. We also have some really great press spots coming out in some major publications, Bloomberg, Entrepreneur, Market Watch, Yahoo Finance. A couple of them are supposed to be real in technical analysis of the coin. Some are high end, so they got a lot of information there as well. We got one from Side Hustle. You're on with us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so just a quick question. Did you guys build your own exchange? Is that essentially DexPad? So everything with money market, everything will just be done through the website, no messing around with Pancake Swap or anything like that?
Yes,
it's a great
and
question.
no.
He's a little off on that one. So the Dex pad is a launch pad. If you're familiar with launch pads, that's where you can, verify. Like, say you need to verify how much Dex IRA you hold to get in on the new launch. That's part of the launch pad, and then it gives you the new tokens. That isn't the same thing as an exchange. However, though, you can use the Dex Finance Ecosystem without an exchange in some senses. Like normally you would go and you would buy a Dex IRA token on Dex Tools or on PancakeSwap, However, with the strategies, you will be able to just straight from the website use some newer technologies, our own swap, something called zapping, where essentially you can just take BNB or your token and put it directly into the strategy, and the tokens will hit your wallet. So we will be running something similar to an exchange. That is correct. However, that is not the launch pad itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the zapping because it would be awesome if you guys did everything as a zap, because getting into liquidity pools can be quite a pain in the ass sometimes.
You're zapping into strategies that auto compound. So when algo coins launch, and they're generally very confusing, this is going to be a much more simple, user-friendly interface than people are. I mean, you've already seen the rewards dashboard for Dex IRA. We're very comfortable taking these things and using our in-house marketing firm to figure out, what was the right way to do what they were trying to do. There is some approval processes and things when it comes to wallets, so you will have something that is similar to a Zap, but that is the direction it's going. Yes.
Yeah, we're looking at.
To give a bit of perspective and context, if you're familiar with other algo coins, we'll use the most famous one, Tomb, as an example. When you're usually investing in one of those protocols, you typically invest in like their value token, some like their share token, so T-share in this case, and then their peg token is where you'd want to put, most of your money presumably in their farms or whatever, right? And then, the user might then take, whatever T-share they're earning from their farms and move it into the T-share phantom farm, and then move those profits into their masonry or what they call it. In this case, the auto investment strategies would be doing that entire process automated, almost like an auto vault, but with multiple steps. And so you're going to be able to put money into one vault and then have it run through a system that, and there's multiple different options, right? So you can choose what kind of path as an investor you'd like to do, and then have it go ahead and do all those movements for you, and then just kick you out your profit, right? Keep most of your money, making you more, right? So it kind of gives you that hands-off approach to advanced, nuanced trading strategies.
We have, as Deb mentioned, obviously there'll be official documentation on all this. I've had this very complex diagram open on my desktop for last week, so we're going to be putting out a whole bunch more stuff to help you kind of understand how this all works.
I'm looking at the front end right now too with the dev team. It is what you're thinking, side hustle, where basically you're looking at some strategies and things, and it's very easy and straightforward, and you can do what's similar to a zap in and just say, hey, yeah, I want to do the exchange process right on your website, right inside of the app. That is happening, yes.
Right on. Also, also when we go to Vegas, make sure Linda gets the invite.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of Lindas.
She's in. I think Side Hustle, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you, brother.
Okay, let's say we got one more down here. Rocket ship again here. Time for two more. The ship, you're back on with us, buddy. Go there. Is that that finger? No, maybe not.
He's firing up his engines over here.
Powering up.
Fire it up, Rocket.
Did we touch on speaking on the regulation pool or any of those differences between this algo coin and previous ones?
Yeah, we covered.
We did.
That.
Nice.
You have to catch it on YouTube, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure to get recordings of these AMAs, especially if I can make it from the very beginning, and make sure that we got those unlocked for us.
Yeah,
I think we have that this time. Thank you, Jaded. But yeah, I think one of the
we do. Awesome.
With that, yeah, we do have that. And one of the interesting questions that came up was if a strategy involves an ETF or a reflectionary token, will there be a process to potentially vote on what is inside of that ETF? And the answer was, that not out the gate, but we do have a voting DA, or maybe could be used for that. It was an interesting question.
Perfect.
Well, is the ETF token just giving you rewards in the stable coins, or is it holding essentially a mutual fund?
More of a mutual fund. Obviously a mutual fund is a little different than an ETF, but
no, right. But you're holding like if I held, say, Vanguard ETF, I'm holding the ticker symbol VOO, and it's inside VOO is a list of companies in the S&P 500. So if I'm holding
essentially a marker, right?
Right. So if I'm holding Dex ETF, I'm holding maybe a percentage of Bitcoin, Ethereum, blah 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 blah. Is that correct?
Correct. And then the interesting part would be is there a way for you to vote on what is held inside of that, and
And yeah, and I think maybe down the road, or is this happening where?
So this is happening at launch without a minus the voting on what's held within it.
Right, but then the percentage of what's being held in it initially, how is that decided?
Great question.
Like I said, that's going to be kind of curated by the team. Like I said, mostly it's going to be the large to mid cap stuff.
Yeah, I believe the exact answer was it's the full inclusion of the large and mid cap tokens within Dex IRA, and then the percentages based off what the current people of the holders have selected across those percentages.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I guess just to further that, we obviously can see who's selecting what tokens, what's the preferred reward tokens for Dex IRA. So that's how we're going to start. And then again, if we got newcomers and people want to vote on new stuff, we're happy to add that as well. Well, I think it might be a good stopping point unless there's any other questions right now. I think we're going to try to do these a little more frequently once once the money market comes out. We appreciate all you guys being active on the chats. We do apologize. We're a little bit we're not always as vocal as we have been in the past, but that's because we are chained to a desk in a dark hole somewhere.
The team has definitely witnessed and acknowledges and appreciates everyone's patience as the development has been going on. Like exactly like you were saying, we've been quiet in chat as we've been working on these new products, and I think it's been a pleasant surprise to see that for the most part, everyone's cool, just like keeping their heads down and waiting for things to come out.
and just the self-moderation and friendliness of the community we're building, that's important. These are a bunch of grown adults, and we're trying to push the limits of some of the stuff on the finance chain, so we appreciate everybody, and all your support.
Let's we got one more from Dick Kings. Let's John. Dick, you're on with the Dex Finance team. How we doing?
How you doing?
Very well. Yourself?
Good.
How you doing?
Doing great. Just wanted to, extend my appreciation to all the hard work you guys are doing. You guys are out there killing every day.
Thank you, man. Yes, it's not for lack of trying, that's for sure.
Nope. I've been here for a while now, so I have ultimate faith in you guys.
Yeah, man. Well, you're the reason why we keep doing it,
Yeah,
In fact,
appreciate it, brother.
someone asked me recently, what made you guys want to do this whole Dex money market thing, and I kind of responded like, a lot of these projects they pop up, and whatever it is, it's over in a month or two, and they just kind of let it die out and move on to the next project. Whereas us, you guys have all been so loyal to the brand that we wanted to, not just move on and rather expand on it and further development of all of them together. And honestly, this concept with the ecosystem, it just works out perfectly. Fits,
Oh yeah, I had one more question. Win swag.
Yeah,
you know what?
Getting that a lot.
That's the one. That's the one page on the new site that's got it coming soon.
Yeah.
So,
You know what? Just because you said that, I'm gonna make sure that we get that going this week. We'll have swag in production this week.
Let's
We
go, Jaded.
Yeah, buddy.
You heard it here first.
We do have design files back from we're ready. I think admin, you have those. We'll all coordinate and figure out the last steps there.
All right, we appreciate you guys.
All right.
Yeah, just send us all your private addresses and names of your wives, and we'll come by and give them their hoodies.
They'll be available.
Pics on the way. Check your DMs.
Dick pics on the way. No, absolutely. The swag is important. We're getting a lot of questions about it. We have a lot, like our supporters are some of the best. So absolutely, we want the gear to reflect that too.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, we're going to try to maybe schedule one more of these, around lunchtime too, just to answer any final questions, or maybe just shortly after to make sure people, have the information they need for strategies or whatever else. We are going to try to make this as simple and easy to use, user friendly. We're going to give you guys our thoughts, our suggestions anyway, not financial advice, but we are going to try to guide you guys through the best ways of using the system, and make sure everyone comes out on top.
Yeah, thank you. And then any high level questions, send right over to your admin here who's lit up. Anything highly technical related to the contracts or DApps, feel free to DM myself and our team here. That's all I have from us, from devs. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, again, we'll have this recorded. Feel free to check in on our YouTube. I'll post in the main chat, and we look forward to launching with you guys soon.
Yeah, boy.
All right, y'all.
Let's fucking go.
You guys have a good rest of your day. We'll talk soon.